Hi, welcome to the Crafts channel. My name's Corinne Brad, and I've got another method of working that I want to show you that I've only just discovered. And again, it's one of those things. I just wondered how I never knew about this before. I've been crocheting for over 40 years. It's C2C, or corner to corner, so it's not actually a stitch. It is a method of working so that rather than working horizontally, you're working diagonally from corner to corner. And it's a method that a lot of people are using now to make patterned Afghan blankets, or grassgowns as they're being called. And you can work them with either 2 trebles into the stitch, 3 trebles into the stitch, or something really nice and chunky is working 4 trebles into the stitch. The number of stitches you want to put in there is going to determine how many chains you're going to do to start with. And obviously the more stitches there are in there, the slightly bigger each piece will come. So I'm going to start with the one that most people use, which is 3 treble stitches in the stitch. Now, I'm using UK terminology because I'm in the UK. So every time I say treble, people in the States, you say double. I say treble, you say double. So put your slip stitch on your hook, and you want to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when you work a treble, you put your yarn over your hook, but instead of going in, well, yeah, you do actually. You go back into the 4th stitch from your hook and work a treble. So you're leaving 3 stitches there to act as your first treble, and then go in the 5th stitch from the hook. Sorry, the stitch next to the 4th stitch, and work a treble. So you've got 2 chains, 3 chains to make your first treble, and then a treble into each of those 2 first chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do exactly the same thing. Treble and a treble. So you end up with something that looks like the world's smallest bikini. So what you then need to do is take 1/2, one bobble as it were, twist it over, and then you just put your hook into that first chain space, I suppose you'd call it, where your pretend treble that's made of chains, and slip stitch into it. And then you work 1, 2, 3 to bring you up to the height of a treble. And then you work 2 more trebles into that chain space. So you end up with a heart shape. And this here is the corner of your blanket. So then you've got to start your next row. So again you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain, yarn over hook, back into the 4th chain from your hook and work a treble, yarn over hook, back into the next stitch on the left and work another treble, and then again you twist your work. So it would normally lay flat like that. Twist your work and slip stitch into that chain space. Work 3, 1, 2, bring you up to working height for treble, and then work 2 more trebles into that chain space. And then again you're thinking, well, I need to join it up to this part, so you put your hook into that loop and slip stitch it, chain 3, work 2 trebles. And that's your next row. So at the beginning of each row you need to chain 5, Work 2 trebles into the 4th and 5th stitch from your hook. Twist your work so that you can get your hook into that adjacent chain space and slip stitch into it, and then work 3 chain to bring you up to the height of a treble, and then 2 more trebles into that space, and you just continue like that until you reach the size that you desire. Now it would also help, I suppose, if I showed you how to stop increasing. So let me just come to the end here. And this is going to be more of a rectangle because it's only going to be 3 squares high by 4 squares long. So when you want to decrease, when you come to the end of your row, if you just slip stitch into that, turn your work over and slip stitch back along the top edge of the work that you've just done until you get to that loop. Then chain your 3, work your trebles into that chain space, and slip stitch it into this one. Till you reach the last chain space that you want, and then again turn it, slip stitch back along the square that you've just done till you get into the chain space, chain your 3, work your trebles into that chain space, and then just join it with a slip stitch to make a very small blanket, and you would fasten it off. So you can do them as squares, you can obviously do them as rectangles. You just keep increasing in one side while you're decreasing on the other side. So a lot of people are doing a lot of very clever things with this way of working. They're doing some magnificent, almost, you know, like intarsia working. They're doing some great blankets. I've not mastered colour changes yet. I'm not even going to pretend to try and teach you how to do a colour change until I know how to do it. But if you fancy having a go at working up really quite a quick stitch, and you see results really quickly. You know, if you're doing a blanket that's going to be about 4 foot long, it takes ages for you to even do a couple of inches of 4 foot long blanket. If you do it in this method, you can see your blanket growing in both directions, and it's really very satisfying. So I hope you like that. If I find some more exciting crochet things to do, I will try them out and I'll demonstrate them to you. If you click subscribe, we'll send you a notification whenever we've got a new demonstration coming up, whether it be crochet, painting, sewing, papercraft, knitting, whatever else we can think of. And I hope you enjoy them. Thank you very much for watching. Please keep safe and we'll see you again soon.